A huge surprise happened at last night's Academy Awards that you're probably still talking about. Suicide Squad won an Oscar. But the first spoonful of schadenfreude of the night came on the red carpet from the editor of People magazine, who'd clearly just finished reciting Don't Say Hidden Fences repeatedly in a dressing room mirror.
These extraordinary movies like Hidden Fences and Hidden Figures.
But not everyone was tuning in. Mike Huckabee publicly announced to the world he would be busy having his colonoscopy, and President Trump was off hosting the governor's ball, though he was gracious enough to leave an early review of the New York Times ad running that evening. Hollywood seemed hurt that the TV watcher-in-chief wasn't glued to a pageant honouring the beautiful, popular people who universally despise him. After making fun of the poor president throughout the show, host Jimmy Kimmel finally just tweeted at him. Trump didn't reply, but remember that it's impossible to get his attention on Twitter, unless you're a retailer who's dropped his daughter's clothing line. The ceremony's producers showed they'd learned since last year's Oscars So White controversy by training the cameras almost exclusively on one man.
Who's your favorite actor?
That man right there.
One of the first people who taught me how to act was Denzel Washington, and I just met him tonight for the first time. Thank you.
A mere 4 hours into the ceremony, we were finally at its zenith, the award for Best Picture. 2 films were the frontrunners. Moonlight, single-handedly representing the collective hopes of every underrepresented person of colour and sexuality, versus La La Land, a movie about Hollywood, set in Hollywood, starring Hollywood people. So when La La Land was announced the winner, everyone resigned themselves to the status quo of the Academy, for about a minute.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
As the dust continued to settle, websites had to throw out their pre-cooked hot takes, while Warren Beatty courageously came back to assure the whole world that the whole thing was not his fault.
I opened the envelope, and it said, Emma Stone, La La Land. That's why I took such a long look at Faye and at you. I wasn't trying to be funny.
The mix-up made the internet question everything, like who is dead and who is alive. Turns out, producer Jan Chapman, whose photo was used in the obituary montage, is very much alive. Following the mix-up, Twitter processed it the only way it knows how, with exhausting metaphors for politics. Though comparing the race for Best Picture to the election is a little problematic, because if Hillary's campaign was La La Land, who's Donald Trump?